So I wanted to talk on this video a little bit about the adult relationship I talked about in my intro video, the one that started when I was about 26 and lasted about a year and a half. So in this relationship, I experienced a lot of emotional abuse, and there were a lot of physical signs that I was really surprised that I experienced. I had never realized that stress can give you, or not just stress, but emotional abuse can give you such crazy physical symptoms that the emotional feelings that you're subject to on a day-to-day basis can leave you with such physical manifestations of that stress. And now it's been about a year since I've spoken to this person, and I'm still struggling day to day with physical symptoms of the stress. And that really surprises me. So I wanted to share some symptoms that I experienced, and maybe if you're experiencing symptoms as well that are like this, you can understand that they're probably coming from the places that are in your mind triggering physical responses to your stress. And that might be a good indicator that your relationship is indeed very, very unhealthy and you need to do something about it. So when I was in this relationship with this guy, and I'm sorry I'm clearing my throat a lot. I have a sore throat again. It's really been bad this year in the office. A lot of people keep getting sick. The first symptom that I noticed after tons and tons of fighting that just never seemed to end, and just constantly feeling like I was going crazy and just never feeling like any problems got resolved. Like just never. And just feeling like I was being minimized all the time was I always felt like I was tired nonstop. I could get 8 hours of rest and wake up in the morning feeling more tired than I felt when I went to bed. And it wasn't, and I'm someone that's known for sleeping very well. Like I don't wake up a lot during the middle of the night. I don't toss and turn. I have not much trouble going to sleep. Like I'll fall asleep in about 10 minutes. It's not really that. It was weird how I would go to bed feeling exhausted. I would wake up feeling exhausted. At the time, I had about a 40-minute commute in the morning from where I lived with this person to work. And I remember I would just start falling asleep behind the wheel driving to work in the morning. And that's not good, you know? And I remember by like 2 or 3 p.m. in the afternoon at work, I would be falling asleep again at work or feel like I was dozing off. And the commute home was another 40 minutes, maybe longer due to traffic. And I would just feel exhausted. I remember having to roll down the windows in wintertime, just make it freezing in the car to stay awake. I'd have to pinch myself, like slap my leg just to stay awake. Caffeine had no effect. I would drink 4 or 5 cups of coffee a day. I would take 5-hour energies, Red Bull. It was like I could drink coffee and then go to sleep. It was so weird to me how tired I was all the time. Like I actually thought I had like a medical condition or something. It was that excessive. And the next thing I want to share was fogginess, like a mental fog. I always felt like I wasn't sharp. I take pride in being able to feel like I'm pretty quick, to analyze the situation, especially at work. I'm quick at, solving a problem. If someone's explaining something to me, I usually catch on pretty quickly. It made me happy that I was good at my job. I liked that I was able to follow conversations at work because we work in a pretty technical environment. And I don't really have the strongest technical background, so it made me happy that, I was good at my job. But during all this time with all this crazy fighting going on, I noticed that my mind just got super foggy all the time. Like I just felt like I couldn't keep up with work conversations anymore. I just felt like I was zoning out a lot. And that worried me a lot. I was actually worried that people at work were going to call me out on not being as proficient at my job as normal. So another thing that I noticed was, I've never been diagnosed officially with depression, and I don't want to make anyone who actually has depression feel like I'm minimizing their situation or anything, because I'm not 100% sure what true depression feels like, but I honestly felt like I was depressed for some of this. There were days where I just could not bring myself to get out of bed. And I would just want to come home from work, just immediately go back upstairs, lay in bed and just go to sleep. And I could sleep for like 12, 14 hours easily. And I remember my now ex at the time yelling at me and saying, "What are you doing? Why are you sleeping? You just don't want to deal with the situation." And I just kept telling him, I'm exhausted. Like I can't stay awake. I'm just so tired. And he was just like, "Well, you're just doing this to make me annoyed," or I don't remember exactly what he said, but I could tell he was really annoyed with me for just wanting to go upstairs and go to sleep. And I'm sure from his perspective, he thought I was just avoiding him. But honestly, I just felt exhausted. Like my mind just couldn't handle being awake. Like the 8 hours at work was all I could do. I didn't even want to eat food. I just wanted to go to sleep. Like sleeping was the only thing that could recharge my battery just enough to make it through the workday, just so I wouldn't get fired, And I never felt anything like that in my life. Like I was young, I was in my mid to late 20s. I was in good shape. I had no health problems. It was insane how weak I felt. In my mind, I just couldn't get myself to really care. Like I didn't want to see my friends really. I just wasn't really interested in much of anything. It was insane. Like it was crazy. I never felt that way before, and that lasted for months. The next thing, these are more like actual physical manifestations more than mental that I noticed. I just scribbled a bunch down. I've had this before, and it wasn't just with this relationship. I had it back when I was in college too, when I was going to visit my family, and I really didn't want to go. But when I have high times of anxiety, I start getting this feeling of like a crushing feeling in my chest. It's kind of like, it feels like, and this is how I described it to the doctors, because I went to the doctors because they thought I had asthma for a while, and they sent me to like a pulmonologist. It feels like you're wearing a really tight fitted shirt or like a really tight dress that doesn't stretch, or a really tight belt if you're a guy. And you go out to an all-you-can-eat restaurant and you gorge yourself to the point that you're so uncomfortable because the clothes are just like crushing you. I get that feeling, but on my chest. And I keep trying to gasp for breath. Like I'm trying to get a full chest full of air, but I can't. Nothing I can do can, and it causes me to feel like I'm panicking. But it's not just 1 minute, it's throughout the whole day. And it's the weirdest feeling. And it was finally diagnosed as anxiety, and I didn't realize it at the time, but it's stress induced, and it only happens during times of extreme stress. So it's only happened 2 times in my life. One time being the situation I'm talking about now with my ex and our huge amounts of fights near the end of our relationship. Well, I shouldn't say near the end, during the majority of our relationship. And then dealing with my narcissistic stepmother, but I don't want to talk about her now. So I had that a lot, the compression feeling in my chest where I couldn't breathe. So that was interesting. I wasn't medicated for that at all. I should add that I'm still feeling the anxiety symptoms now, and it's been about a year since I've seen my ex. A little under a year, like this summer will be a year. And it's really stressful to realize that even though I don't have him in my life and he's not impacting my life, I'm still struggling with the stress of that. And I still have days where I feel like I can't breathe. It's just like, I think my body remembers the stress in my head, if that makes sense. The other thing I had was I did a lot more teeth grinding. I've always been a teeth grinder at night, when you wake up and you're clenching your teeth really hard or you grind them. I do that during times of stress as well, but I did it a ton more when I was with him. I also had this thing that really scared me for a while. At one point when I was going through that really crazy point of being super depressed and having so much stress and just feeling awful, at the worst parts of our fights, I think, I started getting these weird skin rashes all over my body. I didn't know what they were. They were just like red patchy areas, and I'm a really pale person, so they showed up really bad. So I went to the dermatologist, and they said I had, and I hope this isn't too much information, but I had a Candida albicans, which is like the same thing as thrush that you can get in your mouth. It's like a healthy bacteria that you have all over your body all the time, but in times of high stress or if you use antibiotics or stuff like that, the healthy bacteria fungi can overtake your body and cause an infection. So because my doctor believed because I was really, really, really stressed out, my body wasn't balancing properly, and I just broke out in basically a fungal infection just on my skin, which is crazy to think about because I didn't realize that could even happen. But I had these like red, patchy, it looked like sunburn splotches all over my skin, like on my armpits and just like in like different areas of my body. And I didn't even realize that was possible, but it was from stress. And the other thing that I had that is still an issue now, it's been about a year since I first started noticing symptoms, is it's called Pulsatile Tinnitus. It's a thing where you can hear your heartbeat in your ear, like the whooshing sound of your heartbeat. I started noticing that during the craziest, most stressful parts of our fights, which were during the winter time of last year. And it's weird. So it's like when it's quiet in the room, I can hear my heartbeat in one of my ears just whooshing like nonstop. And so I went to the doctor, went to my neurologist, and he said that can happen due to like weakening of like blood vessels in your ears, in your head. And I'm just like, oh my God. I mean, I don't know if that was 100% related, but to the fighting, but I find it weird that happened right during my highest level stresses where, I could feel my heart pumping all day, like just beating out of my chest, just, I mean, that one could be totally coincidental. I don't know, but just crazy. And I still have it. It doesn't go away, according to my neurologist. It can, but I might have that forever now. Kind of sucks. And then the last thing is, I'm like overly sensitive now, I've noticed, and to stressful triggers. I don't know what else to call them. There's probably a better name for this, but I don't really know. It's like, I never used to really care, like, work, stressful things happen, like, oh, a new deadline, showed up out of nowhere and you have to deal with it. And usually you're just like, oh, okay, all right, fine, I'll deal with it. That's how I used to be. But now it's like if something pops up out of nowhere, I feel like I have trouble dealing with it now because it's like any kind of conflict or issue almost feels like it over triggers me, if that makes any sense. Like I go from calm to my heart starts racing. I start freaking out. I start having the breathing problems. Like I start feeling myself tense up. I start feeling myself freaking out. And I feel so weird about it because I'll be sitting at my desk thinking, why am I freaking out like this? This is not, in my head I can tell myself, this is not a big deal. Why are you going into like a freak out mode? This is okay. This is just, another thing that I gotta do today. It's not a big deal. But I'll feel my heart start racing. Just, it's almost like my body's preparing to fight. Like how me and my ex used to just have fights all the time. And so I feel like I'm like overly sensitive now to fights or stress triggers. So I'm really trying to like work on calming myself down and taking a lot of deep breaths and realizing it's not a big deal, but it's so weird how you become overly sensitive to stress. And the last one, because I see this video is really long, I'm sorry about that. This is another one that kind of sucks because it's been ongoing for over a year. This one is another physical manifestation. It's, I started getting weird back pain, like between my shoulder blades, like really bad, tense pain. Like kind of like a really sore muscle. Like if you work out for the first time in a long time, you have the really sore muscles the next day. I have that feeling all the time between my shoulder blades. And I think it's because I tense my muscles, like whenever I get kind of stressed out, and I seem to do it when I sleep. I can't get myself to stop doing it, and I've been going to like massage therapy for a while now. I've been trying to do relaxation techniques because I know the massage is just helping the symptoms and not fixing the root of the problem. And I know it's all having to do with the anxiety and the stress. And I never ever had that before my ex. So it's so crazy. It's like, it's actually super, super painful, and my neck is sore all the time. So yeah, these are just like some of the symptoms that I've noticed have started since breaking up with my ex, or since being with my ex. And if you're experiencing anything similar to this, I want you to know that these things happen, and they are normal in a way, I think. Not normal and isn't good, but normal from very traumatic stress relationships or stress problems or long-term ongoing stress. So I want you to understand that it's okay, and they can be worked on. A lot of mine have gotten better in the past year, but you just have to realize it takes a long time for them to go away. Like, I don't feel as tired as much anymore. It's been a year. The fogginess is gone. I don't feel depressed anymore, but it took a long time to go away. I don't have skin problems anymore, which is good. But the anxiety and the ear problems, they're still ongoing, but I hope that by this time next year they'll be gone too. So anyway, that's it for this video. Sorry it was a bit long.